What makes someone a winner instead of just someone who wishes to win? It's not just about knowing a lot, or being in the right place at the right time, or even luck. The single most powerful thing that decides if a person gets what they want is their decision to refuse to quit. When someone truly decides they will keep going, no matter how long it takes, the universe itself starts to respond. That's because a mind that's made up has incredible magnetic power. Now, understand this important truth. The reward won't come the day you think you've earned it. It will come the day you no longer need it to keep going. The moment your belief becomes stronger than your frustration, the moment your effort isn't tied to getting quick praise, that's when things turn in your favor. Until then, the process isn't punishing you, it's preparing you. The voice of doubt and how to silence it. Every person faces the same inner voice that says, "This isn't working. It's taking too long. You're not good enough for this." That voice isn't telling you the truth. It's testing you. If you listen to it, if you let it control your choices, you give up more than just your progress. You give up your power. That voice doesn't go away by being ignored. It goes away by being overruled. Overruled with action. Overruled with discipline. Overruled by a heart so sure of the goal that quitting sounds crazy. You see, it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how long you keep going. One punch might start the fight, but persistence wins the war. Every step you take without seeing immediate success builds a strong inner foundation that the outside world can't see, but will one day feel. That's the ironic part. You build the strongest part of yourself in the dark. You build your power when no one is cheering. You build your identity when the reward is nowhere in sight. And identity, my friend, is what guarantees the outcome. When you keep going long enough, you stop being the person who wants the dream and become the person who deserves it. Not just in words, but in your actions. The reward recognizes the person who acts as if they're already chosen. The person who works when others wait, who commits when others are ruled by their feelings, who walks with certainty because they no longer make deals with failure. And yes, failure will visit often. But here's what I want you to truly understand. Failure only becomes permanent when you stop moving. As long as you're moving, as long as you're adjusting, learning, and getting better, then failure is just feedback. It's information. It's the universe helping you sharpen your skills. You will only lose if you stop improving. And what is improving if not persistence in motion? It's about continuing to show up, to keep building, to keep thinking from a place of victory, even when defeat seems close. This is how your subconscious mind gets reprogrammed. Through repetition, through belief backed by action, through being so completely focused on a result that quitting doesn't just feel uncomfortable, it becomes impossible. Close your escape routes. So now I ask you, where have you made quitting too easy? Where have you allowed yourself to accept being average because it was easier than climbing the mountain? You must close all escape routes. You must burn the ships, meaning leave no way back. You must stop keeping quitting in your back pocket like a secret option. That's not smart strategy. That's sabotage. The mind responds to finality. When it knows there's no way back, it finds new ways forward. But if you always leave a back door open, your courage will drain out of it. You must declare, I will finish. I will see this through to the end. And I will do it whether things are easy or hard. I will keep going because I have made the decision that I'm no longer available for retreat. And once that decision is made, you will feel a new strength rise within you. Not because the road got easier, but because you got stronger. Your commitment became deeper. Your emotions became quieter. Your vision became clearer. You start walking with the presence of someone who is no longer trying. You are doing, and doing daily, especially when you don't feel motivated, is what creates the pull of the reward. You stop chasing the reward. It starts chasing you. The law of cause and effect starts to work, and suddenly, doors begin to open. Not because you knocked louder, but because you knocked longer. People say they want to win, but most of them only want to win until it gets hard. The real winners are those who decide, I'm staying no matter what. I'm building whether I'm seen or not. I'm becoming the kind of person success must obey. And success does obey that kind of person. Success doesn't resist those who keep going. It resists those who are inconsistent, those who are emotional, those who feel entitled. But it responds to the consistent, the calm, the person who has already decided and simply refuses to be moved. Are you that person? Eliminate inconsistency. If you are that person, then you must get rid of the small habits that whisper inconsistency. You must stop showing up based on your mood. You must stop needing proof before taking the next step. You must become the person who moves on purpose's command, not emotion's command. You must become the person whose inner world is so focused on the destination that the difficulties along the way no longer dictate their pace. And when that happens, the reward can't help but appear. But it won't come early. It will come when, and only when, you no longer need it to prove you're worthy. You already know. You already walk with conviction. You already move with peace. And that peace, that calm, unshakable certainty is the most magnetic force in the world because it tells life, I am ready. And life listens. Now, let me be clear. This isn't about forcing things or burning yourself out. True persistence is graceful. It flows from belief, not desperation. It moves with clarity, not chaos. It trusts that the seed you planted will grow, but it waters it anyway. It expects results, but shows up whether or not they're visible. This is how leaders are built. This is how legends are made. This is how the extraordinary person lives. Not in a sudden burst of energy, but in a steady rhythm of determination. And reward? It bows to that rhythm. It honors those who remain faithful. Not once, not sometimes, but always. So if you're tired, good. That means you're in the middle of something great. That means the old you is dying. That means the resistance is getting scared. But don't you dare slow down now. Don't you dare let weariness speak louder than your destiny. You've already survived the hardest part, deciding. Now, finish what you started. Identity is what guarantees the outcome. You see, finishing isn't about luck, and it's never about timing. It's about identity. If you keep going long enough, you will find yourself shedding layer after layer of weakness, fear, and needing outside praise. And that shedding is necessary because the person who finishes must be free. Free from needing to feel ready. Free from needing to be validated. Free from the false ideas of overnight success. The finisher isn't addicted to comfort. They are loyal to their cause. So I say to you now, you cannot persist if your eyes are always on the clock, if you're constantly measuring how long it's taking. You've already made quitting an option. You've tied your peace to the speed of progress rather than the certainty of the outcome. But the person who expects the reward, who knows the law of compensation cannot be broken, walks with a patience that most mistake for madness. They are not slow, they are anchored. That's the power of purpose. It makes a person immune to panic. It gives them the clarity to keep planting even when no growth is visible. Why? Because they are not reacting, they are acting in faith. And faith, when linked to action, is the most powerful force a person can possess. I have told you before, and I will say it again. You do not need to feel strong to act strong. You must only act as if the outcome is already guaranteed, because in truth, it is if you refuse to stop. You cannot escape the laws of cause and effect. Whatever you do consistently, with belief and strong emotion, must eventually show up. The law does not fail, but people do. They fail when they stop. They fail when they let impatience convince them the process is broken. But the process is never broken. It is building you. It is removing the weaker version of yourself. It is breaking your dependence on praise. It is silencing the excuses. It is producing a person who cannot be denied. Not by failure, not by delay, not by silence. That is who you are becoming. And the more you persist, the more you begin to understand that the journey isn't just about achieving something. It is about alignment. You begin to realize that the reason you're here isn't just to accomplish something, but to become someone, a person whose mind is ruled by discipline, a person whose tongue speaks only life, a person whose footsteps are steady and determined, a person who, even in their lowest moments, moves as if the finish line is already behind them. The power of momentum. Now, listen carefully. You will be tempted. You will be tempted to shrink, to slow down, to question whether the reward is even real. That's part of the training. You are being asked, do you want this badly enough to keep moving even when it looks like nothing is working? That question must be answered with action, not with declarations or affirmations, but with the relentless continuation of the task in front of you. And if you answer with action, consistently, daily, unwaveringly, then you begin to earn a new level of power, the power of momentum. Momentum isn't built in your greatest moments. It is built in your quietest. It is born on the days when nothing around you looks promising, but you press on anyway. It is created from discipline. It is fueled by faith. And once it's gained, it will carry you further than motivation ever could. The reward shows up at the doorstep of those who work like it's already in the room. That's how the invisible becomes visible. That's how dreams come true. Not through obsession with what you lack, but through gratitude for the process and loyalty to the goal. And loyalty, it must be proven, not just spoken. Every consistent action is a declaration. I am loyal to the vision. And make no mistake, the world will test your loyalty. You will be offered faster paths, easier paths, more comfortable paths. But all of them come with a price, the weakening of your identity. If you take them, you may feel temporary relief, but you will lose your reward because the reward isn't random. It is precise. It only lands where it is earned, and it is earned through resolve. You must understand the depth of what resolve truly is. Resolve isn't just trying again. It is closing every option except forward. It is deciding once and never revisiting that decision again. It is getting rid of doubt by starving it of oxygen. When you resolve, you don't wait to see how you feel. You move because you've already chosen who you are. That level of inner command is rare. That's why so few people ever live lives that match their potential. They're too easily swayed, too easily delayed, too easily satisfied with just getting by. But you, if you're listening with the ears of a builder, if you're hearing these words not as theory, but as truth, then you know you were not made for mere survival. You were born to build. You were born to complete. You were born to walk the full distance. And when you do, when you walk far enough, you begin to hear a new sound. It is the sound of alignment. Your thoughts begin to echo your actions. Your actions begin to match your destiny. And your destiny begins to feel like the only logical outcome. No more hesitation. No more should I continue. Now, it is how much more can I give? Not from pressure, but from power. You've crossed the line. You're no longer someone who is trying to win. You're someone who already has, because in your mind, the victory was decided before the results arrived. That's how the great ones operate. They live from belief. They act from conviction. They persist from identity. And when they fall, they do fall. They rise, not because someone tells them to, but because they can't stay down. They don't know how to quit. It was erased from their soul long ago. And that, more than any technique, any secret, any book, is what separates the person who lives with peace and prosperity from the person who dies with regret. It is not in the talent. It is in the tenacity. And tenacity is trained. Tenacity is chosen. Tenacity is fed daily by doing what must be done, regardless of the mood, the praise, or the result. Don't be the man who wonders, what if? So the next time you feel tempted to quit, ask yourself this. If I stop now, what happens to the person I was becoming? What happens to the future I said I wanted? What happens to the reward that is watching me, waiting for me, tracking my every step? Will I lose it because it took longer than I hoped? Or will I become the person who is worthy simply because I outlasted every excuse? The answer must be your action, not your hope, not your promise. Your action. And if you take that action again tomorrow and again the next day, something incredible begins to happen. You stop chasing success. Success starts to trust you. It begins to flow your way. It begins to show up in ways you didn't expect because now you are aligned. And alignment, my friend, is not mysterious. It is practical. It is a natural outcome of persistent, focused, unrelenting belief matched with behavior. That's where we are now. That's who you are now. So finish the task. Honor your word. Keep walking. Because the person who refuses to quit never needs to chase the reward. The reward comes to them. There is a moment in every journey where the reward begins to feel inevitable. Not because the outside evidence proves it, but because the internal foundation is now unshakable. When you've built that foundation, you don't need signs. You become the sign. You walk in a different rhythm. You think in a different dimension. You breathe conviction. And conviction, not chance, creates the environment in which rewards flourish. Most people want success to confirm their identity. But the person who finishes, they let their identity create success. They don't look for proof. They act like proof because they've seen enough. They've been through the tough times. They know the law. They know the nature of planting and harvesting. They know that the reward cannot bypass the person who has done the work fully. So they walk not with arrogance, but with authority. Authority doesn't beg. Authority doesn't hesitate. Authority doesn't worry when things look calm on the surface. Authority keeps building, keeps becoming, because it knows that the reward isn't something you wait for. It's something you grow into. And as you persist, you grow into it. Every unseen act of discipline pushes you forward. Every early morning, every late night, every decision to show up again builds the structure of success within your soul. And when that structure is complete, nothing can deny it. But it will take time. It will take silence. It will take seasons where the only voice you hear is your own. And that voice better be filled with fire, because if you're waiting for applause to validate you, you will quit when the audience is absent. But if you've chosen to validate yourself, if you've chosen to link your identity to the process and not the outcome, then you'll walk like a person who is already there, even when it's still far away. That's what the reward respects. The reward does not come to the person who begs. It comes to the person who belongs. The question is, have you become them? The reward will never be greater than your own belief in your worthiness. You can only attract what you are equal to in discipline, clarity, and consistency. If the reward is still missing, it is not being withheld from you. It is being withheld for you. It is being refined until you are fully prepared to receive it. And preparation happens in the moments most people waste. It happens when you work when no one's watching. It happens when you speak life over your goals, even when doubt knocks loudly. Persistence isn't only action, it is attitude. You cannot persist outwardly if you constantly give up inwardly. You must train your mind to expect miracles. You must convince yourself that nothing in this universe is more powerful than a mind that's made up, because once your mind is fixed, your fate is fixed. Your reality has no choice but to obey. Now listen to me. There's a cost to persistence, but the cost of quitting is far higher. Quitting will cost you your self-respect. It will cost you the future you once saw so clearly. It will cost you your story. And if you quit often enough, you will convince yourself that you were never capable in the first place. That's the most dangerous part, when quitting becomes your identity. You may still talk big, you may still dream loud, but inside, you've agreed with defeat. You've accepted mediocrity. And once that agreement is made, no success technique can save you. You must break that agreement. You must reject the idea that your life can be left to chance. You must remove your name from the list of those who almost made it. You must tell yourself every day that the person who refuses to quit cannot be denied, and then you must prove it through action. Nothing in this world respects theory without application. The universe does not respond to potential. It responds to persistence, to the person who keeps hammering even when the wall doesn't budge, to the person who keeps climbing even when the peak is covered in fog, to the person who keeps believing because they decided to, not because their emotions gave them permission. That person is rare. That person is dangerous. That person is you if you choose it. You've come too far to turn back now. You've invested too much to ask if it's worth it. You've given time, thought, energy, heart, and you must finish. Not just for the reward, but for what it says about who you are. You must finish to prove to yourself that you're not like the rest, that you do not give up, that when the world gets loud, you get louder in silence. There will be moments when it would feel easier to disappear, to fall back into comfort, to say I tried. But trying is not finishing, and in this life, only finishers are crowned. Trying may earn you sympathy. Finishing earns you respect. Trying may let you feel like you almost had it. Finishing makes you undeniable. And the difference between trying and finishing? Persistence. One more rep, one more call, one more conversation with yourself in the mirror saying, I will do this. That's where the breakthrough lives. Right after most people stop. Right after most people retreat. Right after most people settle. And it waits for you. So do not stop. Not because the reward is guaranteed to the emotional person, but because the reward is guaranteed to the persistent person. It is written in law. It is wired into the fabric of success. And no delay, no detour, no difficulty can prevent the arrival of what you've earned, as long as you do not take your foot off the gas. Think about this. How many people around you quit before the miracle? How many people gave up just days, hours, decisions before the shift? And how many of them now carry the weight of wondering what could have been? You will not be that person, because you know too much now. You know how this works. You know that the reward is not random. It is responding. And you know that the person who refuses to quit cannot lose. They cannot, because every action they take compounds. Every decision to continue becomes a brick in the castle of their future. And every ounce of pain they bear becomes power that no one can take from them. So what's next? Simple. Continue today again. No matter how you feel. Rebuild the energy if you've lost it. Re-enter the vision if you've wandered. Refocus the commitment if it's grown cold. But whatever you do, do not stop. Because the person who keeps going, they always see the reward. It may not arrive the way they imagined. It may not come with the music and the spotlight. But it comes. And it brings with it everything they fought for. Peace, confidence, provision, purpose, power, and most of all, a deep, unshakable certainty that they have become the person they were always meant to be. That is the final reward, and it belongs to you if you refuse to quit.